Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another high-grade Build Divers Re-Rise review, and today I'm taking a look at this right here, and this is the Gundam Astray Double Rebake. For a mobile suit that was only in the anime for, well, a brief couple of seconds, I'm surprised we actually got a kit of this. And I will also mention at this point, this kit packs in a couple of surprises I was not expecting. I thought this was based on the high-grade Astray No Name, which is a fairly basic high-grade. This, however, is a whole lot different and is built from the ground up. Anyway, if you do want one of these of your own, there's a link down there in the description. You can get yours at HobbyLink Japan with 5% off, but be quick, that coupon code is ending very soon. So anyway, here is the high-grade Gundam Astray Double Rebake out of the box, snapped together with pretty much minimal effort. All I did as usual is one snip off the runners with the God Hand Nipper, and I did some pan lining using standard pan lining pens. That is it. And straight away, all I can say is, this kit is definitely a little bit of a mixed bag, but on the good side of a mixed bag. So honestly, at this point, I would not be surprised if you're not entirely sure what you're looking at, because this, design-wise, is a lot to take in, and it's kind of hard to get it across, so let's try and simplify this a little bit. So first off, I thought this kit right here was based on this right here. This right here is 2018's high-grade Gundam Astray No Name. So if you saw my review of that kit, I did rank this bronze tier and felt it just was not up to spec whatsoever for a high grade in 2018. So yeah, the Gundam Astray right here, the Double Rebake, is so similar in a whole lot of ways that you can see why I thought it would have been based on this kit. I mean, even the weaponry up on the shoulders, at first glance, is extremely similar. Honestly, there are so many similarities between the two mobile suits that I still feel this right here is a spiritual successor to this, but I am happy to say that this is all for the better. The Gundam Astray Double Rebake right here is a much superior kit in pretty much every single way. But like I mentioned already, it can be a little bit hard to decipher at first glance, so let's break it down a little bit. So in order to get under the skin of this design and see how it works, first let's get off all of that over-the-top, somewhat loud armor that's in the way of this brand new, awesome, built from the ground up, 100% new, high-grade Astray design. This is crazy. It's got a mono-eye visor that leads into the V-fin. The color scheme is so nice. If Bandai don't start making some new custom Astrays out of this, I don't know what I'll do. This feels like a completely different kit, hidden under everything. I'll also mention at this point that the joints in this kit are something like what we would have seen in the 30-minute missions kits or the fine build systems. So in the arms, they have that kind of locking mechanism like those sort of kits that slides on in from the back. This is a completely new style high grade in some aspects. And this kit right here is hiding a whole lot of premium features I did not expect to see, and this is all in under all of that armor that gets your attention straight away. And speaking of all that armor, there it is all back on again, so you can see what it looks like now when you know what the Astray underneath looks like. This is such an upgrade from the No Name. Such an upgrade. Absolutely awesome kit, but there's a couple of downsides. So first off, Bandai definitely got very adventurous with the colors on this particular kit, so that does mean we've got one hell of a sheet here that, well, basically just makes up for everything that they could not do. But in a way, it's not really all that bad, and I'll talk about that in a second. So another knock-on effect of Bandai getting so adventurous with the colors on this particular mobile suit right here is the fact that it's made out of a lot of small sandwiched parts, which is cool, but it does mean there is a lot of surface nubs everywhere on this. I treat this just like I've treated every kit that I review recently, and that is just one snip. Some kits you'll never see anything, some kits hide it so well, and others you can see the nips everywhere. This is one of those kits so you're gonna have to take a little extra time cleaning up each individual piece. Not a big deal though. So as for these stickers right here, as you can see, this is a big old sheet of stickers, but I did not use the vast majority of them. I kind of stuck to mainly the eyes, the blue shiny ones, this I guess is eyes as well, which is the mono eye, and this fairly large white one up here, which was the big old face that is around on the back of the head. Now I know a lot of you guys mentioned this to me before I even made this review, that it does have a sticker for that back face, but to me, that's not its primary face, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's still a pretty old school sticker. And honestly, we shouldn't be seeing that in 2020. These big ones here, Those ones are pretty bad again. Those are for on the flaps up on the shoulders. The purple ones are for color separating some parts on the front, including the front skirting armors. And these yellow ones right here are for on the chest section on the back, so when it is transformed to reverso mode. So now moving on to the accessories, and here is the Load Astray Double Rebake with absolutely everything that it comes with. So what we get in here is this stand with this funny elongating part up top. We've got 4 beams, too long, too short. This one came completely bent in the packet. We've got 2 wires and this alternate backpack for using the shoulder weapons and armor right here on another kit. So before we take a look at all of that stuff, this kit is rocking a whole bunch of stuff up in this red armor. The first of the weapons we have in here is known as the trusty Haken. So these are these bladed segments in the front. You can pop them out. You've got a wire to attach them into the upper section of the armor, and they look a little something like this when deployed. But I will mention, Bandai once again has come with the incredibly wimpy wire. It does do the job sometimes, but it is hard to get into the position that you want it to be in. It's also incredibly short, but I guess that's its range. Next up, this armor segment can be set up as the Roadbuster Rifle. So the transformation into the Roadbuster Rifle is a little bit on the awkward side. So you need to slide the rifle section out, drop down the handle just like this, and then after swinging the shoulder armor forward, you need to slide this back into the shoulder armor while attaching the wrist into the arm. This can take a little bit of getting used to, especially because at this point you will start to realize that this kit is a little bit finicky in areas, especially all of that armor, and it likes to fall apart a little bit, but still, this does look spectacular. So next up then we've got the Gauntlet Saber Clone. Like the name suggests, it flips around and you can pop either or length of saber into that segment right there. And there is a bit of an example of what those saber clones will look like with both a long and a short beam effect attached in. So the next thing we have in here is this alternate backpack. Now this isn't actually for using with the Load Astray itself. So this just attaches into any 2-peg backpack adapter, just like so, like on the RX-78 Revive right here. Anyway, there's an example of what it will look like attached onto a different mobile suit, and that once again, of course, is the Revive version of the high-grade RX-78 2. This fits good, looks good, and this will attach onto any kit with this standard double-peg backpack adapter. So that does mean this will not attach to the Astray no name. So now moving on to the articulation, and the first thing I'll mention about this is, for the most part, it is a very solid kit, but I do find the hips here tend to slide out over time, and I think it's just because of a bit of a wonky design, honestly. It's also very back heavy, but we've got some supplementary legs back here that can help with that. So this kit right here has a great neck. This is not the standard polycap, so this moves a lot, and it almost has a kind of locking mechanism at both ends. Probably part of the transformation. Besides that then, it's just some side to side tilt, spin all the way around, and these segments here, these are on ball joints. In the shoulder, it's your standard polycap. This is aligned towards the front, so it pops forward ever so slightly. We have a ball joint inside of that then. This does exactly what you'd expect from a ball joint. Next up there is that arm raised all the way up, so about parallel to the ground. We've got the full spin at the upper arm. Like I've mentioned before, this is kind of like a 30-minute missions style joint, but it's double jointed instead of single jointed. It seems to me like Bandai is going to go all in with this style of high-grade joint. The wrist is just your standard ball joint, but I find it can pop out quite often, and we only have the one style of hand in here. In here we do have an interesting ab crunch. Both the polycaps are inside of this little waist section. So while you're building this is almost the reverse of what you'd normally do in a standard high grade, which is pretty cool and gets us quite a bit. There is the ab crunch all the way to the front, and then there it is all the way to the back. It does raise a little bit off of the joint there, but this is incredibly good. Of course, we do have the rotation all the way around as well. This kit does have the tiniest little side skirts, so they never really get in the way, but these are the usual ball joints here. We've got the exact same drop-down waist kind of thing right here that you see in a 30-minute missions kit, so Bandai's learned a lot from their own new line of kits. The side skirts, just like the front skirts, are very small, so they don't really get in the way too much, and they don't move too much either. That is just a standard ball and socket. As for kicks, there it is all the way up to the front. Very, very nice. There it is, all the way out to the back. Once again, nothing blocking anything here. As you can see, this part is starting to split. That's why this is such a weak joint. It's held in with pressure right here, which isn't really good enough. So you're better off gluing this segment together. And as for the kicks all the way out, we get the full splits. So the knee bend here is not the greatest that you'd kind of expect with all this bulk back here. Even when that extra leg extension armor is all stripped off, you still don't get much of a bend here. This is quite a limited joint. Finally then at the ankle, we've a little bit of forward and back here, as well as your standard ball joint with a little bit more pivot. As for what it's rocking on the back of the leg, that I guess we need to check out, well, right now I guess. The transformation here is pretty simple. Turn him around, flip the arms, next flip this ball joint section out so it's facing out the way. Pop this segment off, bring this down and around, pop the segment back on, whoa, don't let it fall apart. Bring down that claw. Grab that Astray again, reattach on the big old shoulder armors, then on the forearm armor with those big old claws. Lose the feet, swing down those big old leg extenders, attach those feet back on where they were before the legs extended down. And at some point I did forget the step where you bring those legs around to the other side by twisting them. And yeah, there we go. I don't even know what to say about this. It's interesting. So yeah, this mode right here takes all the worst aspects of this kit and dials them to 11. It's now loose, it's awkward, everything just looks kind of weird. You can see into hollow parts you couldn't really see before, all over the place, and yeah, ooh, let's give it a spin. So anyway, there's the full 360-degree spin of the Load Impulse Double Rebake in its reverso mode. Now, I have to say right off the bat, this does look pretty cool from the front. Also, it does kind of need the stand to stand up in most poses because it is quite unruly. So like I mentioned already, a lot of its worst aspects have been made a little bit worse by this form because it is quite loose. Once again though, it does look quite cool. It's just another one of those ideas that feels a little bit on the half-baked side, but if you like the look of it, are willing to tighten up all those weak joints, then this should be a pretty awesome little display piece. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and this one to me is very hard to rank because there's so many layers to this cake right here. Some are awesome, some are good, some are not so great. As for the awesome, the Astray deep down inside of this kit is really cool, it looks awesome, it's got some great design, and I feel this is not the last we're gonna see of it. There's too much awesome technology that we've never seen before in a high-grade gunpla crammed into it. That is the diamond at the center of this kit. On top of that, the armor sections up on the shoulder is a little bit loose, but a bit of glue, a little bit of tightening, all of that will fix that up no problem. The reverso mode, that is a bit crazy. It's both good crazy and bad crazy because it looks big, it looks awesome, but it does feel quite wonky. So in the end, I do feel this is something like we've seen with a lot of kits from Gundam Build Divers, that we're going to see more with that central Astray that's deep down inside of this kit, and the rest is just for that over-the-top Gundam Build Divers flair. So if you want something crazy, something completely unique, or if you want the Astray deep down inside of this kit, I say go for it. As for the tier, I give this silver tier. I was definitely leaning towards gold at the beginning, but once again, a lot of hollow parts, a lot of reliance on stickers, a lot of finicky loose joints you need to tighten up yourself, and a lot of knobs to clean. Once again, I do feel there is a gold, maybe platinum tier Astray in the future coming from inside of this kit. And I can't wait to see it. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. If you want one of your own, there's a link down there in the description. And as always, I'll see you next time. Do you like gunpla? Do you like free gunpla? Well, right now I have a giveaway going for this right here, so if you want this, check out the description, find that video, and get entered. Winner will be announced December 1st, and then we'll have a brand new giveaway of the Master Grade Barbatos and the Option set. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, so you don't miss out. Once again, I cannot finish this video right here without thanking each and every one of you guys. Whether you just watch my videos, like them, or support the channel on the channel memberships and over on Patreon. Like Craig Jerry, Greg Humphrey, Kaiser721, Tyler Sanders, Caleb Engelhardt, Sean T, and the ambassador for Asymmetric Cat.